Kubernetes namespaces are one of the fundamental building blocks in the whole cluster. It helps to organize and isolate resources within a cluster by creating a logical partition. By separating resources into different namespaces, administrators can enforce security policies, limit resource consumption, and ensure a clean, organized environment. In order to create a namespace, all you need to do is to use kubectl create namespace command. It's very simple. But there are few limitations with namespaces, especially when the cluster organization gets complex. For example, if you want to have many namespaces with similar policies applied to them, then you run into a problem where you have to create a role binding for each namespace because role bindings only operate at the namespace level and they don't get inherited. So in the native Kubernetes, there is no concept of parent-child relationship between namespaces. Every namespace is an independent resource. So in order to create a hierarchical relationship between namespaces like parent and child relationship, you need to use a controller. And in this case, the controller is HNC or Hierarchical Namespace Controller. So this is a simple extension to Kubernetes namespace, which addresses this issue of resource hierarchy or resource inheritance. In this video, I'm going to show you a few of the commands through which you can use HNC or Hierarchical Namespace Controller to accomplish this namespace hierarchy and propagation of the properties. In order to install HNC, first you need to create and install some of the extensions by using this command, and I will paste all the commands in the video description. And then once you have the extensions, you need to install Krew, and with the help of Krew, we will install HNS. So once you're at this stage, you're all set. And all you need to do is to create the hierarchy. Now let me show you how to create a hierarchy. And remember, at a Kubernetes cluster level, all the namespaces are independent, but only with the help of this controller HNC, we will create the relationship between namespaces. Okay, in the first command, at line number 7, we are creating a namespace acme-org. Then we are creating another namespace team A and yet another namespace on line 13 service 1, and we will establish a relationship between these three. Then we are creating a role team A SRE in namespace team A in this one, and then we are assigning it some of the actions and the on which resources, and then we create a role binding with with this role, and this is our service account team A. Okay, this is all good. So in this namespace, we have a role and we have a role binding with a service account. Next, we create another role org SRE, which will be cluster wide. So we are not specifying any name here for the namespace. We are just giving it at the org level, the first one, parent one. And then we are creating, similarly, we are creating another role binding. Now, once that's done, we just double check, okay, in our service one namespace, if there is any role binding, there is none because we haven't created any. Now, let's set this acme-org parent of team-a namespace with the help of HNS. So all you need to do is to kubectl HNS. This is your child namespace. This is your parent namespace, and then it has set the parent here. Now, for the service one namespace, let's set team A as parent. So we are creating the hierarchy like this: acme-org, team A, and then service one A. This service one A should inherit all the stuff from team A, and team A should inherit stuff from acme-org. This is what we are doing. So again, at line number 31, we are setting acme-org as parent of team A, and then on line, as you can see on line 43, and service 1 is child of team A, team A is child of acme-org, and for service 1, we are using this command at line number 31. We are making team A as parent of service 1. Now, after making this hierarchy, when we do kubectl dash n get role binding, now you can see this is this command is showing us this new role binding, which was inherited from the parents of this namespace. So this is how you can propagate one role from one space namespace down to the child. And similarly, not only this is confined to the role binding, you can also propagate secrets and lot of other Kubernetes resources from one namespace to another. But make sure that you don't overdo it because it could get quite complex quite rapidly. And remember, Kubernetes is already complex enough, so just try to keep it as simple as possible. I hope that you found it useful. If you have any feedback, please put it in the comment section. Thank you very much.